Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to our Tafseer class. We are doing the kitab known as Al-Jami'u li Ahkam al-Quran, which is better known as Tafseer Al-Qurtubi, and we are in volume 22 in the Tafseer of Surah Al-Inshiqaq, which we had started a couple of weeks ago. So let us begin. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. So as you can see, we are currently here on page 172, still under the tafsir of ayah number 19, which we were busy with last week. So carrying on from this point here, he says, وقيل أي لترك okay, that's what we read last week. He says وقرأ الباقون لتركبن بضم الباء خطابا للناس واختاره أبو عبيد وأبو حاتم قال لأن المعنى بالناس أشبه منه بالنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لما ذكر قبل هذه الآية فمن أوتي كتابه بيمينه ومن أوتي كتابه بشماله أي لتركبن حالا بعد حال من شدائد القيامة أو لتركبن سنة من كان قبلكم في التكذيب والاختلاف على الأنبياء. So he says that other Qurra, they read the ayah as لتركبن لتركبن. The others read it as لتركبن, as we had seen last week. If you see here, لتركبن. And the rest of the Qur'an, they read it as لتركبن. And that's the qira'ah that we do as well, that we recite as well at least. So he says they read it with a dhamma on the ba, kabunna instead of kabanna. Which when you make it as kabunna, then the address in the ayah, la tarkabunna, you, the person that's being spoken to, you will do this. You will, the tarkabunna. It's got many meanings, but yeah, it was said like you will experience. But anyway, so the ayah, in other words, is addressed at mankind. The previous one, if you take it as la tarkabanna, then it is different. Tafasir was mentioned over there. But anyway, he says this is chosen by Imam Abu Ubaid and Imam Abu Hatim. They said that because the meaning لأن المعنى بالناس, when you say that it refers to mankind, the address is towards mankind, then it is, when you say it as the previous tafsir mentioned that it is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam who will be going state to state. But he says that if you take it that it is addressed at mankind and not at Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam specifically, then this is more closer to reality and the truth than saying that the ayah is directed at Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he says for the reason is because of what was mentioned previously before this ayah, which is فَمَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ وَمَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِشِمَالِهِ. You have the people who are given their book in their right hand and those who are given their book in their left hand. So already as you would say, the siyaq of the surah, the uh, topic of the surah, what is being spoken about is mankind. So it's more accurate to say that this ayah is also referring to mankind like the previous ones, and not that they referring to previous ones and suddenly it speaks about Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the same general nature that it was doing for the others. So he's saying that in reality, the more correct view is that this ayah is addressed at mankind and not at Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam specifically. And he says, that you will go through state after state in difficulties, or at least you will go through different states of difficulty on the day of Qiyamah. Or لَتَرْكَبُنَّ سُنَّةَ مَنْ كَانَ قَبْلَكُمْ, or you will experience and follow the way of those before you, في التكذيب والاختلاف على الأنبياء, that because the word لَتَرْكَبُنَّ طَبَقًا عن طَبَق, it's a very general, vast meaning state. It's, it says you will experience state after state, but there's no explanation in what exactly is that. Hence why you will get many different opinions. So nonetheless, so he says here, another opinion is that you will follow the way of those who came before, meaning the kuffar, fit takdeeb, in belying and denying the deen of Allah, and wal ikhtilafi ala al-anbiya, and arguing with the anbiya, the way the Bani Israel used to do. And they were cursed and destroyed for it, but nonetheless they used to always, if the Nabi say A, then they want to say BYA, that sort of thing. And the Nabi would say A, and they would say, no, I don't like A. So ikhtilaf ala al-anbiya, always differing and having issues with what the Nabi comes with, who's not coming with things from himself, but it's coming from the side of Allah, but yet nonetheless they would have issues with the anbiya. So Imam Al-Qurtubi rahimahullah now says, قلت وكله مراد وقد جاءت بذلك أحاديث. He says all of this meanings, because the ayah is vast and unrestricted, so it will apply to all of them. We'll take all of the meanings on board. He says, and there are hadith in this regard as well. He says, فروى أبو نعيم الحافظ عن أبي جعفر محمد بن علي عن جابر رضي الله عنه. He says that Imam Abu Nu'aym, the Hafiz Abu Nu'aym al-Isfahani, he narrates from Abu Ja'far Muhammad ibn Ali, from Hazrat Jabir ibn Abdullah radiyallahu anhuma, who said that قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول, that I heard Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم saying, إن ابن آدم لفي غفلة مما خلقه الله عز وجل له. That Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, verily the son of Adam, meaning mankind, are in negligence, they're in ghafla, they are heedless, they are unmindful of what Allah Azza wa Jalla had created them for. Created for him as well. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam goes on now to explain, Inna Allah la ilaha ghayruhu idha arada khalqahu qala lil malak uktub rizqahu wa atharahu wa ajalahu واكتب شقيا أو سعيدا ثم يرتفع ذلك الملك. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that when Allah intends to create a human being, then Allah tells an angel, yes, angel number one, uktub rizqahu, write his sustenance, wa atharahu wa ajalahu, what he'll be, like the effects and things that he'll be doing in his life, what's going to happen, things of the sort, wa ajalahu, and how long he's going to live, and waktub shaqiyan aw sa'ida, and write down whether he's shaqi, meaning he's like a wretched person, or Sa'id, a fortunate one. Wretched people meaning those people of Jahannam, fortunate ones meaning those who are going to Jannah. So in other words, write the day that he's going to be born and the day that he's going to die and how much sustenance he's going to have and things of the sort, and write whether he's a Jahannami or a Jannati. But then ثم يرتفع ذلك الملك. Now the angel comes and he writes all of this down, and then he goes. His job is done. That his job is only just to jot down the personal information, so to speak. Then he's over. وَيَبْعَثُ اللَّهُ مَلَكًا آخَرَ فَيَحْفَظُهُ حَتَّى يُدْرِكَ. Then Allah sends a second angel, and he now memorizes all of this. Like how long will this take place, etc., etc. All of these sort of things. ثم يبعث الله ملكين يكتبان حسناته وسيئاته. So that was angel number one who wrote it down. Angel number two protects and safeguards it and memorizes it. And then Allah sends two angels who will write down his good deeds and his bad deeds. Kiraman katibin. Those two angels, they write down everything of good that you do, the one, and the other one writes down everything of evil that you do. فإذا جاءه الموت ارتفع ذلك الملكان. When the time for death comes, these two angels, they leave. Now, their job is done. Books are closed. They go up now. Irtafa'a. They go up to Jannah. ثم جاءه ملك الموت عليه السلام فيقبض روحه. Then the angel of death comes and he takes his soul. So we had already first angel who wrote it, second angel who protects it, third and fourth who write down his good deeds. Fifth angel is Malakul Maut who comes, the angel of death, and he takes his soul. فإذا أدخل حفرته رد الروح في جسده. Now when the person is placed into the qabr, his soul is returned back to his body. ثم يرتفع ملك الموت. Then the angel of death goes now. So in other words, the angel of death takes you through the neck. In other words, at every point in life, as you can see here, there is some interaction with Malaa'ikah. At no point are you free of having an angel with you. So the Malakul Maut now take you, and as you'll know in the he'll take your soul, he'll take you up. Then either you'll go through the different skies. Either you'll be smelling fragrant, your soul, or you'll be stinking like a filthy, rotten thing. In which case you're a kafir and you'll be flung back, and because the skies will not be open for you. But nonetheless, when you are a Muslim and you come up and you come into the court of Allah, and Allah says, "My servant has spoken the truth," take him down. Then he comes down to the qabr now. So anyway, so Malakul Maut, the angel of death, brings him now and he puts the soul into the body. The body is what sleeps in the grave. The soul will return back to the Illiyin, Barzakh as we know it, where the souls will now interact with each other, and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, so the angel of death now comes and he puts the soul into the body. Then ثم يرتفع ملك الموت. Now the angel of death's duty is now over. So he goes now. ثم جاءه ملكا القبر فامتحناه. Then comes now the two angels of the grave, and they will now test him. In other words, now comes time for your exam. And as the hadith mentions, فَيُقْعِدَانِ هَذَا عُقْبَةَ ibn Amir radiyallahu anhu is the narrator, in fact, of this hadith, that when the person is put in his qabr, the two angels come and they will set him up and they ask him now the questions, the three famous questions. And now, who are these angels? There's two things mentioned with regards to them. Number one is Munkar and Nakir, not Munkir as some people mistakenly say, Munkar and Nakir. So that's one set of angels. It's not, let's put it this way. According to some Aimma, it's like there's only Munkar and Nakir. According to others, there's Munkar and Nakir who go to the evil people, the kuffar and them. But for the good Muslim, to him comes Mubashir and Bashir. So you've got Munkar and Nakir, as you can tell from the word, Nahi anil Munkar, the word Munkar from there, so they are the strict, firm ones whose eyes are, they are pitch black with eyes as bright blue as lightning. So you go, the voices is like thunder. The whip or a sledgehammer that one of them would hit you with would reduce you to dust, and you'd be brought back into your shape again. So that's Munkar and Nakir. But what the ulama have mentioned is that Mubashir and Bashir, they come to the believer who was pious. And as the names itself tells you, Mubashir, Bashir, you've got people who got both these kind of names. It means somebody who gives glad tidings, things of the sort. So when you have these Malaa'ikah coming to you in a nice shape, in a nice form, not horrific looking angels who are there to punish you, because they're not there to punish you, because you already lived a proper life. So they ask you the questions which you already know you're going to be giving the right answers. They know it, hence why they were sent to you. So that's Mubashir and Bashir. But any case, so now ثم يرتفعان, then they've asked you your questions, you've answered it. Either you got it right, in which case they go, or you got it wrong, in which case the punishment begins. But anyway, ثم يرتفعان, now they go up. That time is done. فإذا قامت الساعة انحط عليه ملك الحسنات وملك السيئات. When the time of when Qiyamah comes, the Sa'a, the final hour, and people are being brought back, then inhatta alayhi, the malakul hasanati wa sayyi'at, the angel of good and the angel of bad, meaning those who wrote who recorded the good and the bad deeds of his, they come down and they descend down upon him. And فَأَنْشَطَا كِتَابًا مَعْقُودًا فِي عُنُقِهِ, and they will loosen a book which is tied to his neck. In other words, not a book or a scroll, whichever way you want to put it. So these two Malaa'ikah, Kiraman Katibin, they have written down every good thing you did and every bad thing you did. And when the time for your death comes and there's no more time to do good and no more time to do bad, your soul has crossed the gharara, the death rattle as it's known in English, where now what you do from that point is not benefiting no more. Malakul Maut is already removing your soul from your body. So now these angels, they roll up the scrolls that they've been writing your deeds down on, and they, in other words, they tie it around your neck. So now on the day of Qiyamah, you were laying there, it was around your neck, and on the day of Qiyamah, when it comes time now to answer for things, so they come now and they loosen it. Your neck basically was your what can we call it now? Like your safe, your deposit box. So they stored it safely over there. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to be mixed up. It's not lost amongst other things. It's right there with you. So they open it up. ثم حضرا معه. Then these two angels, they are present with you. واحد سائق والآخر شهيد. One of them drives you on, like come on this way. والآخر شهيد. And the second one is a witness. ثم قال الله عز وجل. Thereafter Allah Azza wa Jal says لقد كنت في غفلة من هذا فكشفنا عنك غطاءك فبصرك اليوم حديد. So Allah Ta'ala says at this point that you were in negligence with regards to this. فَكَشَفْنَا عَنْكَ غِطَاءَكَ. And we have removed the covering, the covering that was over there, meaning that covered your eyes, that made you negligent and heedless. It has been removed. فَبَصَرُكَ الْيَوْمَ حَدِيد. So your sight today is clear. Hadid means like metal, but here it means your sight today is sharp, it's clear, you see everything. You deny these things in this world. Now everything is crystal clear in front of you. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لتركبن طبقا عن طبق قال حالا بعد حال ثم قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن قدامكم أمرا عظيما فاستعينوا بالله العظيم. Thereafter, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that لَتَرْكَبُنَّ طَبَقًا عَنْ طَبَقٍ. In other words, this was the tafseer of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that you will experience state after state. And then قال, me explaining what طَبَقًا عَنْ طَبَق means, حالا بعد حال, state after state. And then ثم قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Then Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, إن قدامكم أمرا عظيما. What is lying ahead of you is أمرا عظيما. It is a very serious, major thing lying ahead of you. In other words, where you going forward from here, the year after. So فاستعينوا بالله العظيم. So seek aid from Allah, the greatest. In other words, if Allah is not assisting you, no one and nothing will be able to assist you. So when you are wanting aid to go through all of this that's heading, that you are coming towards, then ask Allah to protect and help you through all of this. So فقد اشتمل الحديث على أحوال تعتري الإنسان من حين يخلق إلى حين يبعث وكله شدة بعد شدة حياة ثم موت ثم بعث ثم جزاء وفي كل حال من هذه شدائد. Imam Al-Qurtubi says, so this hadith, this one hadith, has covered every state that a person will find himself in, from the point where from the point of creation of the person in the womb of his mother, إلى حين يبعث, until the time comes that he is resurrected. وكله, and all of this, meaning all this stage after stage, in all of these is shiddatun ba'da shidda, difficulty after difficulty. Hayatun, life itself has difficulty. Whether you take it as the difficulty of normal life, just living life itself, or the fact that you have to live a particular way of life, and the world out there it's not exactly conducive for that sort of life. Anybody who knows it, you're living in amongst people, you're living in society, there's haram around you, there's things of the sort. So there's difficulty from that angle. And then there's the normal difficulties of life, the illnesses, the pains, the problems, the poverty, the struggle, things of the sort. So that's hayatun, difficulty. Thumma mautun, then death. And death is either a difficulty in its own self, because how you lived in this world determines now your death. If you were a person who was on goodness, then alhamdulillah, you got a good state when you reach this point. But if not, and you lived a life like a kafir, you were Muslim only by name, then thumma mautun, this death is not something you want to exactly face in that sort of state. So it's a difficult time. ثُمَّ بَعَثٌ, then comes the resurrection. And the resurrection itself is تَشِيبُ لِهَوْلِهَا الْوِلْدَانِ. the day of Qiyamah, when you are resurrected and you see everything. Tashibuli Holy Hal Wildan means that the terrors on that day is enough to turn the hair of a child gray. That's the terrors of the day of Qiyamah. Hence why the Shaheed, وَيَأْمَنُ مِنَ الْفَزَعِ الْأَكْبَرِ. He is protected from the great terror, which refers to that on the day of Qiyamah. And things of the sort, the different things that are taking place on that day. There's different things mentioned. For example, for the kuffar, and I always mention it as the same example, that people tend to have this idea that Jahannam is a place only. But when you read the ahadith, you understand that Jahannam is not a place, it's a thing, living, breathing, speaking, moving, seeing creature. And the narration mentions that the 70,000 angels will be holding Jahannam back by chains, and Jahannam breaks free when it sees the kuffar, because out of anger for these people who have disobeyed Allah all of their lives. So Jahannam breaks free from the Malaa'ikah to try and devour them, in other words. So, Ba'ath, the resurrection, either you are amongst the people by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam at the hawd, the getting water over there and things made easy for you, or you on that other side where it's smoke and you drowning in your own sweat and things of the sort. So it's two very different experiences depending on how your hayat was. Either you live the good life, in which case you get the good things, or you live the bad life, in which you can only expect to get the bad things if you're not been living your life as a Muslim. So then comes the ba'ath, that was the resurrection. Then comes the jaza, the actual, the recompensing. Either you will be, your scales are, your deeds are weighed and your good deeds are more, in which case, there you go, boom, on your way, the one-way ticket to Jannah. Or your scale is empty, or you were one of those bankrupt people that you spent your life doing a lot of good deeds, but then your evil was so much against people. You slandered this one, you swore that one, you lied there, you caused problems here, you carried tales there, you hit this one, and things of the sort. That at the end of the day, on that day of Qiyamah, everybody comes for their rights, and they take your good deeds and take your good deeds and take your good deeds till you have no more good deeds. And then when your good deeds have run out and you still owe more people, then their sins are taken off from them and cast upon you until you are taken and cast into Jahannam. So the jaza is again another difficult time. Either, once again, love good, jaza is easy. Love bad, jaza is very difficult. So he says, وَفِي كُلِّ حَالٍ مِّنْ هَذِهِ شَدَائِدٍ. In every one of these states, there are difficulties. So if you live a good hayat, then your maut will be good, your ba'ath will be good, your jaza will be good. But if your hayat was bad, then your maut is bad, your ba'ath is bad, and your jaza is bad. So they lead into one and the other. So, a person mustn't lose hope and think that everybody is going through difficulty and being punished. Not all. It depends on your deeds, and that's wherein lies the rub. Either you live right or you live wrong. You have the keys in your hand or the pen in your hand, and you write in your book what you want to happen to you based on the deeds that you do. But anyway, so that's that. So carrying on, he says, وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم لتركبن سنن أو سنن different one سنن من قبلكم شبرا بشبر وذراعا بذراع حتى لو دخلوا جحر ضب لدخلتموه. قالوا يا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم اليهود والنصارى قال فمن خرجه البخاري. So he says another point of using also the same word لتركبن. He said Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said in a hadith لتركبن سنن, which is the correct word, sunana and sanana both. So you will follow the ways of those who came before you. Shibran bi shibrin, handspan for handspan, wa dhira'an bi dhira'in, and forearm for forearm. In other words, as we would say, centimeter for centimeter and inch for inch, like that, literally. But every last thing you'll follow them. Hatta Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, so much so, لو دخلوا جحر ضب, if they were to enter a lizard's hole, لدخلتموه, you would also go and enter that lizard's hole. Then the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who are these people that the people that the Muslims will now follow? Are they the Jews and the Christians? Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Faman, who else then if not then? They are the ones who are before you, who came before you. So you will follow the Jews and the Christians right up until you go into the lizard's hole the way they do. خرجه or أخرجه means it is reported by Imam Al-Bukhari rahimahullah. Okay, I think we've spent enough time on this ayah here for tonight, inshallah ta'ala. I think we'll stop on this point, and next week we can continue on from وَأَمَّا أَقْوَالُ الْمُفَسِّرِينَ, the few points of the Mufassirin. So we did a hadith in this regard. Next time we'll hear what the Mufassirin have to say. But that being said, we end in on this point here for tonight, inshallah ta'ala. Until next time, we end and we say, وَصَلَّى اللَّهُ وَسَلَّمَ وَبَارَكَ عَلَى نَبِيِّنَا مُحَمَّدٍ سُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ وَبِحَمْدِهِ سُبْحَانَكَ اللَّهُمَّ وَبِحَمْدِكَ نَشْهَدُ أَن لَّا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ نَسْتَغْفِرُكَ وَنَتُوبُ إِلَيْكَ. وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَيْكُمْ ورحمة الله وبركاته.